Hello everyone, we Sonic the Hedgehog Gamer here and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Last time, we took a walk in the woods somewhere in New Jersey and we're never going to make it to LA. No, we took a walk to the woods out back of Yamaku. Met Kenji who thinks Ren is a boy. Knew that male uniform would help one day. Ah, this music's so good. Thus, the languid days of mid-June passed by. Mailed my letter to Wanako, and received no reply. I decided to ditch the old me. I started observing my fellow students even closer than I did before, hoping to understand how other people cope with their own issues. I started seeing things I didn't before, and it makes me wonder if I've been wrong twice. Superficially, everyone is abnormal, yet so strikingly normal that it shocked me at first. I admired the way my new schoolmates turned my prejudice around just like that, simply by being themselves. Never gotten used to it, I began to noticing the other kinds of tones in the people surrounding me every day. There's a soft, numb sadness all around me. You can see the effort everyone has to make just to get through the day, and how it weighs on their shoulder, just like how it weighs on mine. Even the brightest smile is just slightly subdued. Every outburst of annoyance just simply slightly dampened. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. I'm trying to think what it means. What I can think I can learn from others. Wonder if deep down, everyone is as lost as I am. Is there even one person in here who has truly found peace? I sort of feel doubtful about myself once again. I can't decide whether these people are feeling unhappy, or if they've just learned to cope and now live in an unfeeling limbo like I did all spring. I escaped from these feelings into the towering piles of books I carried to my room from Yuko's sanctuary. I had to realizing that this will just shut me down even more. I start going to art club's room more often, usually whenever I can. Rin too seems to spend more time in there than in her own classroom. I didn't see her totter towards the door at the very end of our corridor. That wooden door in the room behind it, smelling of paint and paper, seemed to mean more to her than the rest of the world combined. She says she has special permission to use the room, which I don't doubt at all. I don't think Nomiya would deny Rin anything. He seems to dote on her like an uncle upon a favorite niece. The object of his affection, however, has no favorites. She says she appreciates the teacher a lot for going an extra mile for her sake. But even when she says that, her expression is always the same. It's as if she was talking about a particularly unremarkable rock that she saw the other day. Can't really figure out their relationship. Rin doesn't seem to let anyone close. I don't think even Emmy could say she's crossed the gap that seems to separate Rin from the rest of the world. I don't understand it. She seems so indifferent, yet so passionate at the same time. Somewhere, the school bell rings their last call for the day. I realize I've been zoning out for who knows how long. Days, I sit up straighter, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. The pungent smells of linseed oil and turpentine mix in my nostrils as I draw in a deep breath. I feel drowsy and lightheaded. It's already this late and a few club members left early, so it's just me, Rin, the teacher, and two other girls who were also about to leave. Oh jeez, what's with you and faces? Well, I guess Mao specifically. Rin is sitting to my right, slowly working on a painting while I'm idling the time away. I don't think she realizes I've been watching her this whole time. With a nimble move of her delicate ankle, she dips the brush into crimson paint and presses it lightly onto the canvas. The stain spreads around, as if the brush was bleeding. Her progression has slowed down to a crawl by now. By now, I learned that this is dangerous for her technique, as the paint must not be allowed to dry before she's finished. It occurs to me that I am literally watching paint dry, and yet somehow I'm not feeling bored, despite spacing out just now. Most of the time, the art club is very relaxed and free form. Apart from times where Normia gets really excited about some techniques or styles he wants to teach us about. Everyone is free to pursue their own interests. Lacking one, I keep floating around without direction. I try this and that, but nothing really leaves me with a deeper impression. Not to mention that I don't seem to have a special knack for anything. Well, I did get praise for my attempt at waterworks, and I felt really pretty good about that myself, but that's it. I suppose it's to be expected. I joined the art club mostly on a whim after all. I think that maybe I should quit the club if it's going to be this pointless, but there's nothing really wrong with pointlessness. I can't exactly say I'm unhappy. Unsatisfied maybe, but I've only got myself to blame for that. As the pair of girls exit the club room with a cheerful "Bye-bye!" Nomiya stands up from his desk. His chair scoots back with a loud screech that breaks the harmony of this quiet afternoon. He taps the pile of papers in his hands twice against the tabletop in order to straighten them, then stretches his back. I have a faculty meeting to attend, so I can't stay. I'll have to do some paperwork later, so if you want to stay, we can talk then. Sorry about this. There are two people here, but he's really talking to only one of us. Nomiya spends extra hours of his time mentoring Rin after official club hours are over. And I'll bet he'd like to discuss his plan of getting Rin's art into a gallery a little more. It's alright, I think I'll probably be here, but it's not a big deal if I'm not. I don't really have much going now. Rin answers without moving her eyes from her work in progress. Tone of her voice is neither the polite kind expected when talking to a teacher, nor her usual monotone. So I won't need to send a search party if you aren't here? Yes, no thanks. I don't like to party. We can talk later. Good girl! Smiling, the teacher picks up the rest of his papers and makes his way to the door. I glance at the clock above it and then at my watch to double check. They're 3 minutes apart, but nevertheless, the closed meeting's time is over now. Red seems intent on staying here to work on her piece while waiting for the teacher. Can't quite imagining what one-on-one time would be like. Would they actually discuss anything? Red is always subdued in what she says. When she does say something, it's difficult to understand what she's talking about. Maybe Nomiya just talks endlessly like he does at club meetings, letting Rin absorb what she will from his infinite well of art knowledge, like a sunflower turning to face the glowing sun. Do you mind if I stay? I thought maybe I'd give watercolors another try. Thought out the excuse, sort of accidentally, embarrassing myself. Rin doesn't take her eyes off her painting. Okay. Shift around in my chair. Then get fetching a cup of water, brushes, colors, and some paper. Sound of my footsteps invading the still afternoon air. Before starting, I try to recall what the teacher told us. An important philosophy of the medium. Working with watercolors means more working with water than working with color. Try to keep that in mind, and dip my tiny sable brush in the cup of water. Mixing yellow and blue, trying to capture the sunlit treetops outside of this window. The sun is low, so the yellows are more pronounced than everything looks darker. Still can't quite connect what I see with what my hand does with the paints, but it's a passable attempt for my level. After a while, I start losing my focus and move the paper aside, starting to watch Rin work for a while instead. That little while stretches first into a long while, then into a really long while. Rin paints her entire being fully concentrated on the brush between her slender toes, and the painting coming to life, one stroke at a time. She seems determined and yet at the same time relaxed, effortlessly moving the brush around, never hesitating. Colors meet and part, mix and cover, each other on the canvas, bending to her quiet will. I don't know anything about composition, structure, or any of that stuff, but I really like Rin's paintings. I like how she looks when she paints. As usual, the silence between us compels me to speak rather than merely wait for her to open up. She might end up saying nothing at all. Do you mind if we talk? I don't mind. Kinda wanted to ask more about why you get so weird about this thing the teacher wants to arrange for you. Rin picks up a tube of paint, squeezes it in between her toes on a palette almost as easily as someone with an opposable thumbs would. Taking a brush again, she replies, a lot of things. And some not things. Unthings. I don't think that's the word. Do you want to talk about it? Try to reach out to her, clumsily ignoring the embarrassing feeling of awkwardness. Rin keeps her focus on the painting, spreading more and more paint on the canvas. Her lips forming a perfectly straight line as she concentrates on the job. Not really. Talking is hard. I mean, it's not hard, talking even now, but saying the right things is really hard for me. No matter what, I just can't say the things I want. That sounds weird. It's true. I say all kinds of things that I don't really mean all the time. And sometimes I forget words, and then I use the wrong words. Even come up with new words for things that already have some. That's the worst thing. I get really nervous, and everything comes out a mess. And even I don't really understand what I want to say. I think there's something wrong with me that makes it like this. Maybe when I sit, I can only think of 4 things at the same time. I nod wordlessly. It's not really 4. I mean, it is 4, but everything else is also there, kind of in the background. Like being at an amusement park and a beehive at the same time. But that's not the point. I used to do better, like 6 or 7 things. I think so, at least. I feel like I'm becoming dumber. I think everyone has times where they feel like they can't say the right things. But it's there all the time. Stronger and deeper. Yeah, deeper is a good word. I like that word. Deeper. It's that feeling of being underwater. Maybe it's just art. The more I paint, the more words I forget. Maybe at some point, I'll forget how to speak completely. Feels like I'm slowly forgetting everything. Do you remember what you thought about 3 or 4 years ago? No, I don't. A long pause ensues, during which time seems to be bend around itself, almost tying itself into a knot. I don't think I've ever heard Vin talk like this honestly for so long about anything before. It's like I'm fading away from the world. Vin's foot has stopped its work on the canvas and she is staring at her painting, unmoving and if gazing from some faraway horizon. Sunlight briefly glints in the corner of her onyx eyes. Something floats up into the top layer of Vin's being and she lets out a long sigh. It said sigh though, I was allowed to sigh. Well, not sigh, but yawn. Anyways. Then she blinks and it's gone. Paintings stay behind. When I look at my old things, I remember what I was thinking back then, when I made them. They make me feel like I can be with the past me's when I was a different me. I guess they are proof of my existence. She says the exact same words Nomiya used when he spoke to us about the nature of art. I don't think Vin was paying attention back then. I wonder if she was listening, or whether she had heard the same passionate speech from Nomiya before. Either way, I feel overwhelmed. Boy, you're all complicated. I would have taken up writing a diary. I just quickly flicker to my direction, and then back to the painting, but she doesn't pick up the brush anymore. That's a great idea. Why didn't I ever think of that? Are you being sarcastic? What's sarcasm? I don't call her on the joke, if it is one. But at that moment, Nomiya returns from his meeting. He brings to us a very melodramatic "Hello!" loudly surprised to see me here along with his prep student. Walking with a boisterous gait to his desk, he drops his papers upon it. Picks up a handkerchief and cleans his glasses with incredibly meticulous care before walking over to us. Before he is within earshot of us, Vin says something to me in a quick, quiet tone. Change is the scariest thing in the world to me. And I seriously don't know if I want to change into a person who could do the thing the teacher wants me to do. I don't know if I could, even if I wanted to. Hello again! Hello. Hello. She looks so sad! What's going on? Bumpers. What's going on? He smiles a bit sheepishly, looking at both of us with an uninhibited interest. Where the hell's my mouse? Ah, nothing. We were just talking about that thing with your acquaintance and the gallery. For Vin's work, sort of. Oh-ho! Any decisions? Look at Vin, who's trying to arrange the bothered expression on her face into something else. Anyway, I don't think there's much to say other than you should go for it. Shit! You don't trust me with this type of thing! Oh no! Okay. Really? Hasao, I would not say go for it! Hasao, no! Then again, all things must change. This is a no. She does not care about being famous. Maybe this, because that would be exciting. I don't think it's this, though. Why must it give me choices? I need to find something to distract myself while I think about this. I'm going with this one. This isn't like you. You told me that people should do things they can't, just because they can. And now you're being all wishy-washy yourself about something that's important. I don't think I want to talk about this. I'm going. Shit. I have to reload. I'm sorry, I think I made her upset. Let's see, I think it doesn't matter. Shit, that's the same thing. Oh no, it changed. Don't you think it'd be exciting? It'd be wild about something like this. Ahaha! So would I! But this is about things like your career and future, rather than a useful adventure. Although there's nothing wrong with enjoying oneself. Naomi gently reprimands my excitement, but I'm not going to let it go. Seriously, everyday life is so dull. You always do the same thing every day in the same way. There's probably something else. Now, my boy, it's a big decision, and even though I'd like Tezuka to be more decisive as well, she needs time to mull it over. Why don't we let her decide? You have good intentions, but in the end, it comes down to her own feelings. Any thoughts on the subject, Tezuka? You've been quiet all afternoon. We both look at Rin, who doesn't return either of our gazes. No, I think I'm going. You are? What a shame. Promise me you'll give me some kind of answer in a week or so, alright? Alright. Good girl. It's all gonna be the same. I'm gonna go with this, because I know the other one's gonna be the same. I don't think there's any... Oh shit, I'm skipping more. Fuck. So I think I made her upset. Don't worry about it. She'll be fine, I'm sure. I'll talk to her later. Emma looks at me over his circular pink glasses, smiling sympathetically. You made friends with her then, Nakai? Well, something like that, I guess. Depends on how you look at it, to be honest. I'm not really sure. It's more like me and Van just tend to hang around each other irregularly, talking or not about something that more often resembles some twisted mockery of philosophy, rather than normal, everyday things that friends chat about. Well, that's all good, isn't it? You're a new student, and we should be promoting integration into the student body and such. I can't remember all the buzzwords they spew at faculty and Yamaku Foundation meetings, but that's how it is. Tezuka isn't the most social person around these parts either. Yeah, that's definitely true. So, she talked about my suggestion to you? Oh no, not really. I think it's been more me pressing her to decide something. Maybe I shouldn't have. Why is this happening a lot? No, I'm sure it's fine. I'm too soft with her, even when I shouldn't. I don't really know how to handle Tezuka. She's so independent and willful. Put that tongue back where it came from, or so help me. I wonder if this is what every old geezer of an art teacher who got his hands on a young and fiery protege felt like. He chuckles ironically to himself a little bit, turning to face Rin's latest work, which she left drying on the easel. She departed so abruptly that I wonder if she considers it finally finished. So, let's see the painting then! He leans in closer, peering at the canvas. It draws you in, doesn't it? Nomiya stands back straight, his face a dreamy, nostalgic visage. Don't answer him, as he seems to be taking my agreement as a given. I sometimes stay here after hours just to look at Tezuka's paintings. She's really prodigious and at such a young age. I get shivers just thinking of what she could become. A few more years of refinement. You ask what makes an artist, remember? This is it. They take a piece of the world and reshape it into their own image. Metaphorically, of course. Looking at her makes you wonder what the world looks like through her eyes. It's a wonderful thing to be young and full of passion. The most extraordinary time of your life. You would do well to remember this, Takai. Yes, sir. It's so silly. People always ask artists, where do you get your ideas? As if ideas were something sold at a market for pocket change. You can't explain inspiration. For people like Tetsuka, it's like breathing. It's an instinct. I bet maybe one or two with the same kind of raw potential. But no amount of potential will amount for anything if one doesn't work to realize it. It's practice, technique, skill, draw for an hour every day for a few years, and even the most hopeless cases become a passable artist. Tetsuka's not brilliant because she was born with a natural talent for this kind of thing. She's brilliant because she works harder than anyone. Ever since she learned to hold a pen, most likely. And all of it with her feet, no less. Absolutely phenomenal. Silence finally lands in the courtroom as Namiya lets himself get drawn back into Vin's painting, gently murmuring acceptance towards the still wet canvas. What kind of things do you paint yourself? As I'm waking from a reverie, he looks at me, surprised at my talking to him. Oh, I don't! Not anymore! I became an art teacher only after my career in that field came to an end. Now I just pass knowledge to the next generation. The way Namiya answers is curious, both giving and withholding information. I feel like asking more, but he cuts in before I get a chance. Now you should run along, boy! It's almost dinner time, isn't it? Yes, sir. Have a good evening. You too! Quickly collect my stuff and step out into the deserted hallway, leaving the teacher along with my musings. The weekend will be here soon. It's amazing how fast time flies here. I promised Emmy I'd join her for the celebration of her triumph at the track meet last week. That should be plenty of fun. That's all for this time. Long speeches of Namiya is freaking painful. Cause he has a deep and brewing voice like this. Ugh. So that's so. Is the water a bit grayer? Or is it just so early in the day? Umbrella logic cake, huh? Well, that's all for this time. This is Resonic the Drug Gamer. I hope you enjoyed the series so far and hope to see all you guys again next time. See you guys then.